Part 35. Guardians of Tirisfal of Konoha. Author, Ziujian. Chapter 341. Chapter 341 Nine Lama's Psychic Contract. With a wave of the staff, Wu's figure instantly disappeared into the room. Uchiha Madara? Minato looked seriously at the silent Kurama. That is to say, when you, Nine Lama, left Brother Wu's private space, the contract was already sensed by Madara. Without saying a few words, he wanted to psychic you resisted his psychic spell. As the fourth Hokage, Minato has the highest authority over Konoha. Therefore, he also learned about the mysterious disappearance of Uchiha Madara's body after the war at the End Valley that year. The Uchiha clan, because of Obito who joined Enby, and the relationship between sharing eyes and solving the disadvantages, the relationship with Minato is very good. Uchiha Fugaku understands very well that the position of Namikaze Minato's Hokage is as stable as Mount Tai. Leaving aside his own strength, regardless of Minato's background as a commoner, the Uchiha clan can only envy him and dare not hate his current connections. Therefore, when Minato took the initiative to release the signal, the Uchiha clan also gradually changed themselves under the leadership of Fuyu. After all, although there are many Uchiha clansmen who are hawks, they cannot but think about their offspring. Obito has changed too much, and they know how strong the Samsara technique is. They also saw the reform of the fourth Hokage Namikaze Minato. They have a deep understanding of how strong Konoha is. Under these circumstances, and under the leadership of Satoru, Minato and Uchiha Fugaku also had friendly exchanges several times. Uchiha Madara is still alive, neither Goto nor Fuyu concealed it from Minato. No, before Madara's psychic spell was fully cast, it was blocked by Wu. The unbearable past of being driven by Uchiha Madara as a pet appeared in front of Kurama, and he snorted angrily. That bastard! I never imagined that my uncle's current energy composition is quite different from before. After taking out an arcane crystal as a snack and throwing it into his mouth, Julama simply sat down cross-legged, holding his head in boredom. So Madara's psychic contract took effect a bit later, and we noticed it in time. Boy Wu's shield is of the nature of time and space, which can block the connection between spiritism and the contract. So there is no way for my uncle to go back to his private space through the portal now. So that's how it is, Senior Brother Wu should have already discovered the target location of the psychic spell, that is, Madara's location. Minato nodded. He is also very good at time and space art. This kind of thing is not impossible for Satoru. Senior Brother Wu seems to be confronting Madara head-on. It's a pity that we can't see each other. Well, it's nothing to be sorry about. If there is a real fight, it will soon spread throughout the ninja world. Nine Lamas had an expression of I understand very well. The Guardian Council is short of someone to stand up to. Madara came here by himself. Before Minato could speak, Kurama's eyes lit up again. By the way, you have to stay here with me anyway, and bring that little thing to me to have a good look at it. Both of you are people who have a contract with my uncle Chakra. After all, this kid can be regarded as my uncle's junior, isn't he? Julama, are you sure you have no bad thoughts? Idiot. My uncle wouldn't be so tasteless. The country of Taki is one of the small countries bordering the country of fire. However, this is no ordinary small country. Although the area is not worth mentioning in front of the 5 major countries, in the era when the one country, one village system was first established, Longian village had an endless stream of outstanding Junin. At that time, the strength of Longian village was even second only to Sheian village, the weakest of the 5 hidden villages. So, when Hidden Sand village owned a Shikaku and refused to be assigned a tailed beast by the first Hokage Senjujuruma, and asked for financial support instead. Although it is not a hidden village of the 5 major countries, Longian village, which is still powerful and feared by the outside world, has picked up a tailed beast. Shijiki Naneo. Hidden village hidden by a huge waterfall, although surrounded by 4 countries, but the unique geographical location has never been invaded by other countries. Moreover, the reason why Longian village can have a strong inheritance, according to legend, is because it has a mysterious secret medicine. But Uchiha Madara is obviously not interested in the secret medicine of chasing wind and shadow. He has been around the country of Taki for a while, but he still can't find the entrance of Taki hidden village. But Madara is not in a hurry, he has plenty of time. When Madara regained his strength, he had already paid attention to the news of the tailed beast. Although Nanao is the only tailed beast that is not under the control of the 5 great hidden villages, it can fly, so it is undoubtedly very difficult to capture. So until now, Nanao, who had appeared in the wild, hadn't been seen for a long time, and Madara noticed it here. He judged that Nanao should already have Jinchuriki. So, Madara came here to investigate related news. When Madara was young, Takigakure was still very strong. Although there is no movement now, because Takiyan village is really secret, Madara doesn't want to startle the snake. However, Nanao didn't find it, but Madara unexpectedly sensed that Ninetales' psychic contract had appeared again. As the person who controlled the 4 generations of Mizukage and cooperated with Nagato, Madara still attaches great importance to the Guardian Council that was formally established a few days ago. There is no way not to pay attention to it. Although the congressmen are not in his eyes, the strength of the speaker, Mito Manto, is there. Although Madara judged what Konoha said when the Ninetales psychic contract appeared last time, the news that Uzumaki Mito was safe and sound was nonsense. But the appearance of this contract made Madara also a little confused, whether he had made a wrong judgment before. Could it be that Uzumaki Mito really didn't die before, and Kuwabai didn't transfer? This time is the real Renzhuli transfer ceremony. Or is Uzumaki Mito really dead as he thought before? This time what's wrong with the new Ninetales Jinchuriki? But Madara didn't have time to think about it, so he made a decisive decision and decided to seize this rare opportunity to channel Kuwabai to himself. If he hesitated any longer, if it was really the Renzhuli transfer ceremony, the contract would lose its sense again soon after, and there would be no chance. But Madara discovers there is a delay in the psychic Ninetales. Is it too far away, or the influence of reincarnation? It's just that before he could think about it again, the spiritism failed. The powerful and proud Uchiha Madara performed a mere psychic spell, but failed like a rookie ninja learning for the first time. How is this going? The eyes behind Madara's mask narrowed slightly, and he continued to try several times, but all failed without exception. Looks like it's not my problem, Ninetales is in a weird state. I didn't feel that the target resisted the call, as if the contract only provided the location, but was not activated by the spiritism. Although the psychic contract can still be perceived, the psychic art just cannot be successfully connected to the contract, and the operation process is incomplete. Shua. Don't try, the spiritism has been blocked by me. With the flash of teleportation light, Satoru's figure appeared opposite Madara, who was still pressing on the ground with one hand. The chairman of the Guardian Council, Mito Mongo, met Uchiha Madara, Sr. Guardians of Tirisfal of Konoha. Author, Ziujian. Chapter 342. Chapter 342 First Meeting. Uchiha Madara stood up slowly. Madara has been known for a long time for this great master Mito Mongo. However, this is indeed the first time we have actually met. Madara even felt a little regretful that she didn't discover the importance of enlightenment early. Otherwise, maybe a powerful agent can be harvested now. Speaking of which, it seemed that his agent plans several times were also directly or indirectly destroyed by this guy in front of him. You know me? With the opponent's current status, Madara does not doubt that he has seen his own information. But he is wearing a mask. With the psychic contract of the 9 Lamas, I can't think of another person except the legendary Uchiha Madara. Satoru held Alan's in his hand, looked carefully at Madara wearing a mask, and frowned slightly. Madara felt a little weird to him. Although he was wearing a mask and a robe with a hood to wrap himself tightly, but in front of Wu's powerful spiritual perception, he still revealed some information. As a normal person, Madara's soul breath is too strong. In this case, either the strength of the soul has greatly exceeded his body. For example, when Wan Snake's soul was stuffed into Snow Rabbit's body by Wu when he tested the soul transfer magic circle. Either the opponent's soul and body are not in a state of fusion, but a state of dependence. It's like some soul possession or something like that. In the ninja world, there is such a technique that can achieve this effect. Reincarnation of the dirt. The name of the technique that Satoru slowly said made Uchiha Madara's eyes narrow behind the mask. Sure enough, you are worthy of being the great mage, a master of ninja, you are a fearsome younger generation. He laughed lightly, grabbed the black robe and mask on his body, and yanked it off. Since it has been guessed, there is no need to continue wearing such troublesome things. Shamit has long hair, red armor, a stern face half hidden by long hair, a pair of scarlet Sanguya Sharinans, and on the black eyeballs, face, and body, there are slight cracks that represent the reincarnation of the dirty soil. I see. Madara didn't suspect that he and Nagato had communicated in secret, but Satoru understood why Nagato sensed that Madara would put so much pressure on him. It also explains why the writing-sharing eye-pupil power that controls the fourth generation of Mizukage Hyakura is so strong. If I remember correctly, Madara-senpai, you should be very old, right? Satoru frowned, although he knew that reincarnation of the unholy earth could achieve the current effect through special sacrifices, just like the Fourth Ninja World War on the original timeline. But Madara shouldn't have this ability now. Who cast Dirty Earth reincarnation on him? Did you get this technique from Danzo? Soon, Satoru remembered that Madara seemed to have had some cooperation with Danzo. Then, with the status of Danzo, there is no problem at all in obtaining the reincarnation of the dirty soil. It seems that he died too easily. Oh. You can deduce so many things just by seeing it, which saves me a lot of trouble. Although Madara was a little surprised, Satoru guessed the source of the reincarnation of the dirty soil, but he didn't mind. On the contrary, he also understood something. It seems that Danzo's death has nothing to do with you. Madara looked at Xiangwu with more and more admiration. You are different from those pedantic Konoha ninjas, no wonder you can achieve such a huge career. Speaking of which, you give me the feeling that you are very similar to that bastard in Kinshalbiajian. Such a flexible mind, enough ruthless means, enough long-term vision, and the same annoying attainment of time and space. Madara no longer folded her arms, but stretched out her hand to Satoru. I came into the world with this posture, just to complete the regret that I couldn't complete when I was young. Come join me, your guardian council, what a thankless task, don't you know? The current 5 major powers will maintain such a fragile balance due to the pain of war and the deterrence of your strength, but given time, the inferiority of human beings will definitely erupt again. Just like the one country one village system dominated by Hashirama, although the small-scale battles have been weakened, the ninja war formed by the accumulated hatred and contradictions is even more cruel. When the Council of Guardians can't suppress the darkness that humans have accumulated before, what kind of tragic war will break out, you should understand. The domineering Mr. Madara would be so polite to a young junior like me. It was beyond my expectation. Satoru was stunned by Madara's attitude, but he soon relieved. Madara is not a fool, he has been secretly observing what Satoru did. Especially after controlling the 4th generation of Mizukage Hyakura. However, he still invited Wu with the attitude of recruiting a valuable subordinate. I'm sorry, Madara-senpai, everything you pursue is nothing more than a dreamy life, an illusory life. Although I can't tell you clearly now, I still want to remind you. What your eyes see is not necessarily what is real. Madara frowned deeply at Satoru's words, then withdrew her hand reaching for Satoru, and folded her arms instead. What did you say? I don't know who you were reincarnated from, but I have also done some research on the soul, and I can see that there is no bondage on your soul. In other words, the caster of the unholy reincarnation didn't control you, or you broke free from the shackles. But either way, you're not really alive right now. It is not a trivial matter to maintain such a form, but to complete the matter. Satoru can't reveal his connection with Nagato, so he can't reveal that he knows Madara's plan in a profit manner. However, the purpose of my visit this time is to tell you that Ninetales is no longer a dangerous wild beast. Soon after, I will start to erase the psychic contract on him. So, please stop trying to channel him. If it wasn't for your operation just now, I would have erased the contract by now. Oh. So it really is the Kuwabai's Jinzolai transfer ceremony now? Madara sneered, and put on an unruly expression on his stern face. Since you don't want to be my subordinate, there is nothing to say. Speaking of which, I found and captured Ninetales, and that fellow Hashirama just sealed it into Mito's body arbitrarily while I was away. Konoha stole it for so many years, now I should take my pet back, right? Sorry, you are already an unstable factor. If you get the strongest nine-tailed beast among the 9 big-tailed beasts, things may get out of control. Wu looked calmly and pointed to himself. As the chairman of the Guardian Council, I will stop the first unstable factor that the council has faced since its establishment. Stop. The corners of Madara's mouth turned up slightly, and his scarlet cherry non-fixedly stared at the calm Wu. Then let me see if you have the qualifications. P.S. 9.2 The end of eternity, the firstborn created the universe and created countless worlds in Zars Antis. Is this the rhythm of the multiverse? The Titan has been reduced from the creation of the world to the wage earner for planetary renovation, and he is crazy. Ai Zhang, the strongest Titan, was downgraded before he was born. The last chapter of the first book of the entire World of Warcraft story since War 3. Already working hard on the story after this. I'm so The plot collapsed, overthrow it and start over? Or stop the loss in time and let yourself go? Write your own fanfic? Num. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Guardians of Tirisfal of Konoha. Author, Ziujian. Chapter 343. Chapter 343, Satoru vs Madara. It's not speculative, half a sentence is too much. The domineering Uchiha Madara rarely showed kindness to a junior, but he was flatly rejected, and naturally his face was dull. And what this junior said, which seemed to be meaningful, also made him a little concerned. When the strength reaches the level of 2 people, they will not be aimless. If it's just to disturb his mind, it's unnecessary. Therefore, what Wu said must have meant something. But the other party was obviously unwilling to explain more on this issue, and jumped the topic to the introduction of the meeting between the two. On Ninetales. Originally, I came here to find clues about Nanao, and it was just a surprise to perceive Ninetales' psychic contract. Madara's body was filled with a huge momentum, and his long hair of killer matte automatically said without wind. But your appearance made me realize that I really should find a powerful helper first. Nagato's power is at least not available to him right now. When facing Satoru, Madara felt that if he had Kuwabai in hand now, maybe he wouldn't have to waste so much talking with him. But it's not too late to wake up now. If you want to prevent me from getting Ninetales back, let's try. As you wish. After realizing the staff and putting on the prismatic body protection, a powerful aura not inferior to the color spot rose up. Maybe you didn't take what I said before, but I believe that after being hit, you will think about it carefully. Strike. It's up to you. Madara snorted coldly, showing a haughty smile. Except for Hashirama, no one is qualified to say such things to me. No, not now, Hashirama either. In his scarlet eyes, the Sanguya quickly spun. Let me see, what is the ability of the number 1 ninja on the bright side now? One of the most commonly used methods of the Uchiha clan against the enemy is Sharingan illusion. Casting it in the form of a trifling jade, just to say hello. With Wu's tyrannical mental power and the mind protection spell, he couldn't even make him dizzy for a while. Then how about this? Seeing the smile on Wu's face, Madara's complexion darkened slightly, and the jade in his eyes turned slightly, and they had already turned into complicated patterns. Eternal Kaleidoscope Sharingan. The rotating kaleidoscope casts a powerful illusion that can instantly control 9 tails. However, Wu's figure disappeared. I don't know how to stand up and accept moves, Madara-senpai. Satoru's voice came from behind Madara, and at the same time a strong burning sensation rose. To deal with you, you can just try this kind of technique that originally cooperates with the reincarnation of the dirty soil. Madara's eyes widened, and in the next moment, he was submerged in a terrifying explosion. This is. Take advantage of Pyroblast. Boom. Satoru's figure appeared at the beginning, and then appeared in a farther place in an instant, admiring the terrifying continuous explosion where Madara Hara was standing. Enlightenment got the forbidden technique, mutual riding detonation talisman very early on, and spent a lot of money for practice. However, the technique of Krypton Gold is not the effect that Wu wants. From the very beginning, Wu just wanted to study its principle. Now, to deal with the legendary Uchiha Madara, it is even more important that he is the reincarnation form of the filthy soil that claims to be dead. Wu revealed a secret killer move that had never been used because it was too cruel. Transformed based on the psychic principle of the mutual multiplication detonation talisman, the mutual multiplication pyroblast technique. Detonators are physical things, so they can be continuously channeled from the inventory. But strictly speaking, pyroblast is just a group of strongly compressed fire elements, and there is no entity. How to channel spirits? So, Wu thought of a way. With materialized arcane crystals. The pyroblast is just an introduction, and the arcane crystallization of continuous self-channeling is the core that replaces the detonating talisman itself. After the arcane crystal is psychic out, it will use the magic circle engraved in it to condense the fire elements to form a fire explosion, continue to explode, and psychic the new arcane crystal. Because after the pyroblast explodes, there will be a huge amount of fire elements near the explosion point, so the arcane crystallization only needs to condense enough fire elements to explode in an instant. And, different from the detonating talisman, the pyroblast technique will continue to gather fire elements at the explosion point due to the arcane crystallization, and the explosive power will become stronger and stronger. For a while, the surrounding temperature dropped a bit. The fire element was continuously gathered to the center of the explosion. Wu grinned. It's been so long for the first time, if it goes on like this, the reincarnation of the dirty soil can't stand it. Boom. However, Wu knew that this move alone would not be able to kill Madara. Although during the battle, a lot of intelligence was obtained. He knew Madara's methods, but Madara didn't understand his. It seemed that Satoru had the advantage. But in fact, Madara has a strong fault tolerance rate in the state of reincarnation. The huge blue protection violently scattered the increasingly powerful explosions of the mutual pyroblast. Madara opened Susanoo directly, shielded himself, and escaped from the explosion area. Susanoo now only has the upper body, but still firmly protects the broken Madara. His body is recovering rapidly. Lianshu is so similar to that bastard in Tomona. Madara was surprised, but did not lose her demeanor. Naturally, he is very clear about the original purpose of reincarnation. Although he doesn't know how to use the detonating talisman, Of course he has seen it before, so he can react so quickly when he perceives the fluctuation of time and space. After a few words, Madara's body had recovered to its original state. He tilted his head and watched Satoru stop the pyroblast with a wave of his hand. You are well aware of the nature of reincarnation from the dirty soil, why do you still do useless work? It's the same as your Sherry non-illusion, just to say hello. Satoru shrugged, and a luneth glowed with brilliant arcane light. The legendary Susanoo, it's the first time I've seen you, let me see how strong she is. A thick beam of arcane light exploded from the top of the staff, and Madara's eyes instantly widened. Arcane shock. Boom. The violent explosion and strong light covered everything nearby, and when the strong light dissipated, Madara opened his mouth slightly, and looked up at Susanoo's chest that became empty. Is this the elimination of blood successors? No, stronger than Chendun. Satoru didn't hit Madara with this blow, it seemed that he really wanted to test Susanoo's strength. It's just that Madara knows that the opponent seems to have been controlling the scale of the battle. Don't you want to draw out Takiyan village? So the guy who obeys the rules just can't be unscrupulous. Madara smiled coldly, he didn't have so many scruples. The attack is good, so how about your defense? The huge Susanoo rose again, the difference is that this time it pulled a string of shiny hook jade with both hands. Gautama of Yasaka. The huge Guyu flashing with lightning was so powerful that it was about to devour Wu's tiny body. Wow! A huge portal opened in front of Wu Zhan. At the same time, another portal quietly appeared behind Susanoo. How can it be just defense? Use the way of the other, and return it to the other. Guardians of Tirisfal of Konoha. Author, Ziujian. Chapter 344. Chapter 344 Unrestrained Water Element. Although Madara has never heard of this stock, he can understand the literal meaning. As Madara's solid shield, Susanoo almost didn't use his own spear to attack his own shield like the third generation of Raikage, but it turned out to be a new long with a stronger spear. Susanoo resisted his own attack, and Madara's eyes became more and more excited. Beautiful, after so many years, I finally met an opponent who can let me let go. Susanoo raised his hands horizontally, and two twisted long swords formed by the materialization of chakra appeared in his hands. Not only that, Susanoo suddenly rose again. It has grown its lower body and can move freely. Try this trick. Melee attack, how do you transfer it? With Madara in the center, the gigantic Susanoo charged straight at Satoru, swinging his swords down fiercely. Boom! Satoru's figure disappeared in place and appeared on Susanoo's shoulder. Senior Madara, melee attacks cannot be transferred, but I can transfer myself. Susanoo, do you dare to approach in person? Madara seemed to have expected this move a long time ago, after all, this was also Satoshi's signature. How could Madara not recognize the flying Raijin jutsu that Senjuto Kaima once killed his younger brother Uchiha Izuna? Another pair of sword-holding arms stretched out from Susanoo's shoulders, and suddenly surrounded Satoru in the thick chakra. The huge chakra formed a huge palm, holding Satoru tightly in the palm of his hand, and Madara made a seal with both hands. The form of Susanoo is under my control, you are looking for your own death. Tisk, sure enough, it's better for me to stay away. The arcane brilliance surged all over Wu Wu's body, and the instant spell was launched. Magic explosion. Boom. The added magical explosion technique will blow up the part of Susan's hand that restrained him, including his head and chest, and immediately disappear. Arcane power is more effective against Susanoo than dust done, whether it is the arcane impact on bow, or the arcane explosion of AoE, it is the same. In the next instant, Satoru's figure disappeared in place, and reappeared not far in front of Madara. This level of Susanoo can't do anything to me, but I also have something I want you to point out. Wu Wu waved his staff, and a huge magic circle appeared in the space in front of him. Summon Unbound Water Elemental. Clatter. The huge water element, which was not even smaller than Susanoo, stretched its body and appeared in front of Satoru. Compared with war mechs, water elementals are safer against guys like Madara. After all, Madara's attack power is likely to cause irreparable damage to the war mecha. However, this water element is very different from the original cute appearance. Water escape, this is still as annoying as Kinchaubiajian. Spotted expressionless. Alright, I'll treat you as that bastard and teach you a lesson. Seems a little different. Madara discovered that the surface of the huge water elemental body was covered with thick ice armor, and it seemed to have tumbling energy surging in its body. With hands in Mudra, Madara obviously started to get excited. Konoha has a person who surpasses the shadow again, then let's see this trick of Hashirama. Wood Dune birth of the flower and tree realm. Boom. Huge tree roots and branches grow violently from the ground, winding towards the water element like a spirit snake. Water is impermanent, but it can also become the sharpest blade. The water in the water element's hands surged violently, forming two high-pressure water knives that rotate violently. Not only that, fine and sharp ice fragments are mixed in it. Water element ice water knife. Swish, swish, swish. In the original timeline, Qian Fijian, who was reincarnated from the dirty soil, can cut off the roots of the sacred tree with the help of water escape. Now Enlightenment's ice water knife is only stronger than that level of water escape ninjutsu. The huge vines and trees formed by the birth of the flower tree world were cut off one after another. Susanoo was almost at the top of the huge vine. Uchiha Madara watched the water element solve the dilemma neatly, nodded slightly. Very good, so, what about this trick? Wood Dungeon Wooden Dragon Art. A huge wooden dragon rushed out from among the densely packed vines, and Madara's curious voice sounded. Can you still cut a wooden dragon of this level? This is a powerful ninjutsu in the hands of Senjujima, which can confront Kuwabai. Although Madara is not as good at the wood escape technique as Hashirama, but with his almost unlimited chakra, he is the most suitable for performing this kind of rough and wild technique. The wooden dragon's eyes shined, and he rushed towards the water element. The size of the rope tree, don't compare. Wood dragon art is very strong against tailed beasts, and can also suppress chakra, but unfortunately, water elements are not subject to such restrictions. Water has three states: liquid water has unparalleled inclusiveness, solid ice is a solid ice armor, and gas can evolve into a powerful source of power. Swinging the staff, the water elemental's size instantly swelled by more than half. But this is not the gathering of more water elements, but the mixing of fire elements. Water element steam mode. Bound by ice armor, inside is a powerful high-pressure steam, the current water element. Every move has great power. After fighting with the steam ninja, Jinzulihan of the Five Tails for so long, this trick simulates the ability of boiling escape, and it was reproduced by Wu Wu. Boom. Putting away the powerful ice water knife, the water element holds a huge ice shield in his left hand, and an ice spear in his right hand, combining offense and defense. But for the abnormal water, the wooden dragon's best entanglement attack has no effect. The solid ice armor, combined with the powerful steam power, makes the water element have the ability to face the wood dragon head-on in melee. It has changed from a long-range legal baby to a qualified tank. Not only the huge power brought by the steam mode and the powerful defense brought by the ice armor and shield, the water element can also use the slowing effect of the ice and the scorching damage of the steam. It's for unrestrained water elements. The two behemoths fought inextricably, and Madara looked at Xiangwu with more and more excited eyes. Very good. Ha ha ha, very good. Ice escape and boiling escape, these are the two extreme blood succession boundaries. In addition to the arcane art that is more powerful than the elimination of blood successors. Mitaman Satoru, You have indeed stood above the shadows. That's the way it is, it's a hardy battle, so what? While speaking, huge bright red flower buds rose from the huge vines all over the ground. The buds opened one by one, and the strong pollen filled the space. Wu Dun, who is extremely familiar with Mutun, knows very well that as long as he inhales a little bit of these pollen, his body will be paralyzed. But unlike a ninja, as an archmage, he always wears a prismatic shield for all-round protection, so he can ignore such disturbing attacks at all. Madara obviously figured this out quickly, and he wasn't embarrassed. Whether it's the creation or you, the defense is so good. Then, I'll add more fire. With hands in mudra, Madara took a deep breath. Fire escape, great fire extinction. The pollen spewed by large flowers is not only poisonous, but the fine dust can also ignite. Boom long. Wu's position was hit by a huge fireball, instantly turning into a sea of flames. Guardians of Tirisfal of Konoha. Author, Ziujian. Chapter 345. Chapter 345 Fire Phoenix. The Uchiha clan is very good at fire escape ninjutsu. But here in Uchiha Madara, it's not just good at it. Although the highest level of fire escape ninjutsu seems to be B level, its strength is very obvious depending on the person who uses it. Here in Madara, in the original timeline, it was a move to suppress the Ninja Alliance. Even this trick Huo Huo Miu Miu was also used when suppressing the 5 shadows. However, for Wu, Water Dungeon has little effect on him, so does Fire Dungeon. Madara saw the violently burning sea of flames, and under the control of a powerful energy, it spun violently, forming a flame tornado. Ice spells can summon water elements, and fire spells can summon fire elements. How can it be so simple and rude? In the flame tornado, Wu's low-pitched incantation sounded. Although it is too complicated and the casting time is too long to be practical. But it's different now, thanks to Madara-senpai for the fire. In the flaming tornado, there was a faint and high-pitched cry. Then, in the fire tornado, 2 huge flame wings stretched out. Several dazzling streamers appeared behind the wings, and the red and purple light reflected their essence. This is a wonderful creation of arcane and fire. There was a look of interest on Madara's stern face. What ninjutsu is this? Tailed beast? No, the only flying Shijiki Naneo among the tailed beasts is a bug. Without keeping Madara waiting for a long time, the violent fire tornado exploded with a loud bang, revealing the figure of enlightenment, and under his feet, a huge and dazzling flying bird made of flames. Wings dancing like flames, and the long feathers made of flames are fully visible. The whole body is shining with the dazzling light of flames and arcane arts, and the flame streamer behind it is the dazzling tail feathers of this beautiful creature, which makes people immerse themselves in it. A faint halo of flame surrounded the firebird, and the surrounding vines, branches, and large flowers were scorched. Summon Fire Phoenix. Wu holds Aelins and stands on top of the Fire Phoenix, with the fire halo on the Fire Phoenix. With the sacrificial halo is a powerful war-level summoner. But if the sacrificial halo is turned off, the Fire Phoenix is an extremely cool conventional flying mount. Thank you for the technology contributed by the High Elves. These flamboyant guys have contributed a lot to the gorgeous effects of spells, ha ha ha. The Fire Phoenix, which can be reborn from ashes, is immune to fire damage. The reason why the Fire Phoenix is summoned for the first time now is because Satoru can usually move quickly by relying on teleportation and flashing. Moreover, Wu used his previous metal chakra's staff to rebuild a magic frisbee as his flying mount. Archmage's prismatic frisbee. Just now Wu just wanted to summon that solid mount to take off into the sky. However, since Madara contributed such an abundance of fire elements, which could greatly speed up the casting speed, Wu didn't mind showing off in front of the Fire Master. Sure enough, the way Madara looked at Fire Phoenix had changed. Such a gorgeous and stylish mount. It was tailor-made for me, Uchiha Madara. But Madara also knows that this is just a technique of the opponent, not a real tailed beast. Madara even began to doubt the aesthetics of Sage of the Six Paths. Compared with the flamboyant fire phoenix in front of them, the nine-tailed beasts all have weird shapes. Even the strongest Kyuubi and the most dazzling airway are scumbags in front of it. However, the current fire phoenix is not a harmless mount, but a war mode. Boom! The dazzling fire phoenix soared into the sky, and then launched a fierce dive towards the huge Susanoo who was hiding in Madara. Enlightenment was protected by it at the very center, and the huge fire phoenix seemed to turn into a huge flaming meteor, which hit the four-armed knife-wielding Susanoo hard, causing a violent explosion. The flames exploded, and Susanoo also burst out dense cracks, which were completely destroyed in an instant. The bursting flames forced Madara back, and then condensed into a fire phoenix again, and the scorching sacrificial aura spread violently, clearing the bombed-out battlefield. "Senior Madara, how are you doing? Boy, you have a bit of my demeanor." Madara's face was expressionless, his hands quickly formed seals, violent chakras surged, and in an instant, 10 Madara appeared in front of Wu. Wood Dungeon Multi-Wood Clone Technique. Don't call me despicable, after all, you are a strong shadow that has surpassed. Then take a guess, can these avatars use Susanoo, or can't they? Since you say that, of course you can. Satoru was in the middle of the fire phoenix, looking at Madara with arms folded in the distance. You are still playing. Humph, have you ever seen an adult be serious about a child? Although you are not too far away from growing up. In the end, I was just testing my own strength. Since I became this form, no one has been able to make me exert myself to this extent. Madara has recovered a lot from her initial excitement and is clearly moving. So, let me see, how far can you go? Susanoo. Huge chakra gushed out from the wooden clone, and 10 Susanoos holding chakra knives almost rose from the ground. Tisk, that's the size of the 5 cages. Wu smacked his lips, the light under his feet flickered, and the brilliant aura was activated. The reincarnation of the dirt that can be called infinite chakra. Although I don't know where Madara got such a master, transformed the sacrifice, and resurrected with a young posture. But I haven't found him using the eyes of reincarnation so far. It seems that we have to further force him to show his strength so as to determine his upper limit. The Dragon Vein Chakra was used in Jiushinyuan, and the Book of Medivh provided far less arcane power to Wu Neng than before. But with Wu's current spiritual power and the support of the brilliant halo, Wu's arcane power is not to say infinite, and it is difficult to exhaust it. Senior Madara, we are making too much noise, let's change the venue. Madara was taken aback for a moment, and saw 10 Susanoos, Mutun clones and his own feet, a glowing magic circle appeared. Let's go to the beach to fight. In an instant, the figures of Wooden Dragon, Water Elemental, Fire Phoenix, Wu, Susanoo, and Madara all disappeared in place. On the northern coast of the country of Taki, Madara's figure appeared in midair. He turned over and landed on the ground, watching the huge fire phoenix and his clones appearing in front of him with Susanoo with no expression on his face. Humph, same indecision as Hashirama, but this time and space technique is commendable. Enlightenment's forced teleportation to the target is more powerful than in wartime. Susanoo can send as many as 10 of such a big thing in one go. But at the seaside, the water element instantly possessed a huge environmental bonus, and beat the wooden dragon that had been cut off by the teleportation spell to pieces in one breath. Now, let's let go. Wu's figure appeared on the ground, and then the light shone under his feet, and the flying Mount Archmage's prismatic frisbee appeared. The outer circle of the frisbee is inlaid with 3 arcane magic balls, slowly rotating, while the central disc is engraved with an anti-gravity matrix, standing still. Wu's body was lifted up by the frisbee and flew in the air. On his left is a dazzling fire phoenix surrounded by flames, and on his right is a huge unruly water element overflowing with cold air. Second round. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Guardians of Tirisfal of Konoha. Author, Ziujian. Chapter 346. Chapter 346 Complete Susanoo. What a wonderful performance, I couldn't help but applaud. Even though Madara said that, he still folded his arms, and the old god was watching Wu with the extremely gorgeous special effects. 10 Azure Susanos held curved chakra knives and rushed directly towards Satoru. It's like a zombie parade. Susanoo with a transparent shell and a skeleton inside, in terms of appearance at this stage, it is really not very good. With a light wave of the enlightenment staff, the huge uninhibited water element on the right changed its shape again. The solid ice armor and ice shield and ice gun disappeared, and dark blue waves surged around the water elemental. In the interior where the water element became deeper, loud bangs came gradually. Hot air, cold air, water vapor, and wind as an inducer. The loud rumbling sound became stronger and stronger, and Madara could already see that there were bursts of dazzling thunder shining inside the huge water element. Water can be the sea that sails ships, or it can form the violent storms of the sea. The dazzling arcane brilliance on the staff of enlightenment suddenly soared, and the form of the water element changed drastically in an instant. The dark blue body, surrounded by turbulent plasma, storms and water vortexes, converged to the arms of the water element, and 2 long whips made of powerful energies of 3 disaster levels appeared. The long whip is made of a turbulent water vortex, covered with plasma and storm, and sweeps the ground with a violent momentum that almost possesses the power of heaven and earth, and ruthlessly sweeps towards the incoming Susanoo. Water Element Storm Whip. The Archmage can independently summon the advanced form of the wind element, thunder and lightning. However, the simulated thundercloud model formed by combining water elements with fire elements and wind elements will form more continuous and powerful lightning. Boom! Like the power of a god, the majestic whip of the storm whipped the 10 incoming Susanoos into disintegration, making no progress for a while. The whip of the storm not only has excellent attack power, but also has a powerful confinement power. Seeing that 10 Susanoos are entangled by the double whips, they are tightly bound together. It felt like a bundle of dry firewood was tied with hemp rope. The imposing manner is indeed magnificent. Is it a pleasing compound ninjutsu? It is really exciting, but the intensity seems not enough. The corners of Madara Uchiha's mouth were slightly raised, commenting on the new form of the water element. According to this destructive power, I'm afraid it will take a while to cause enough damage to Susanoo, but this time is enough for me to do a lot of things. Of course I won't keep seniors waiting. Lighten the enlightenment staff, and the fire phoenix on the left side surrounded by the sacrificial halo gave a clear cry, waved its wings, and flew over the Susanoos. The fire phoenix spread its wings, and its dazzling tail feathers covered the entire sky like a curtain covering the sky. Immediately, it folded its wings, embraced its body, and spun around with itself as the center. Just like when it was born, the extremely violent fire tornado appeared again, but this time, the beautiful feathers composed of countless flames poured down with the power of the fire tornado. Each feather is made of ultra-high concentration fire elements, which can be understood as feathered pyroblast. Dance of the Phoenix. Boom, boom. The countless feathers flying all over the sky are the full-screen indiscriminate attack launched by the fire phoenix. The tragic explosion combined with the powerful storm whip with a powerful confinement effect directly wiped out the existence of the Susanoos. Like a lava hell, the ground hit indiscriminately by Phoenix Dance has already begun to melt to form magma, while Storm Whip is under Wu's control, has long since withdrawn, and continues to accumulate energy. The huge fire element gathered, and after the fire phoenix finished spinning, its body became much brighter again. It let out a high-pitched cry that pierced the sky, and suddenly pulled away all the fire elements on the earth, and the whole bird emitted a dazzling flame light, soaring into the sky. Oh! This move! Madara's sight rose as the fire phoenix lifted into the sky, but he saw that the sky was already bright red. Meteor! Fire meteors burning with violent flames descended from the sky and merged with the soaring fire phoenix. With the fusion of two war-level spells, a large amount of pure fire elements are instantly condensed into a brilliant spear that exudes dazzling light. The long spear was surrounded by dazzling flames like phoenix feathers, stabbing fiercely towards Madara Uchiha like a trial by a god. The Spear of Nirvana. Uchiha Madara's face finally became serious. As the great master of Huodun, although he doesn't quite understand why the opponent can use so many tricks in a ninjutsu that can only use burning as a means of damage. But this will not interfere with his judgment on the power of this spell. But he wasn't very worried. Mitaman Satoru, are you out of your mind? No matter how powerful this speed technique is, what's the use if it can't hit me? Boom! The violent chakra raised Suzanu's skeleton around Madara, which can be regarded as his defensive method. Sara has a powerful technique, but his combat awareness, what? Madara's eyes widened slightly, and a portal appeared above his head. The dazzling fire element spear has disappeared in the first half of the air, just like piercing into the void. And this half, rushed out from the portal in front of Madara. Who said that if you are far away, you can't hit it? Boom! Like a nuclear bomb explosion, a huge mushroom cloud rose into the sky. Suzanu's defense lasted less than a second before it shattered in the violent explosion, and even Madara's body was torn to pieces by the violent flames. However, reincarnation of the dirty soil is such a perverted technique. Only one head of Madara was left and fell on the molten ground, but a smile appeared on his face again. Good job. The body was recovering rapidly, and Madara finally understood why the move just now was called Nirvana. Utilizing the huge amount of fire element in the center of the explosion, Wu's fire phoenix took shape again with another cry. Madara-senpai, are you having fun? Wu laughed lightly, and seemed to be saying concerned words in his mouth. Is your body okay? Oh, the recovery speed is very fast, so I can rest assured. Madara swung his staff again. Madara was still lying on the ground, his gaze was naturally upward. So he saw, on the clear sky that had been dispersed by the previous raging flames, there appeared once again a giant roaring down. This time, it was a large group of ice comets exuding a cold air. Madara touched her eyes subconsciously, a little regretful. Unfortunately, the eyes of reincarnation did not recover. But the arrogant Uchiha Madara is not a self-pitying generation. This powerful sacrificial body is created by fusing several Bai-Ze and his own body. His own body is a body with eyes of reincarnation opened. However, it is still much stronger than the kaleidoscope Sharingan. After her body recovered, Madara stood up and nodded slightly. So that's the case, I am worthy of being a strong man beyond the shadow, so I, Uchiha Madara, will fight with all my strength. A pair of kaleidoscope Sharingan opened suddenly, violent chakras surged from the whole body, and his long shamite hair was shocked and danced towards the sky. Perfect Body Susanoo. Guardians of Tirisfal of Konoha. Author, Ziujian. Chapter 347. Chapter 347, Long Range Fort. The size surpasses the mountain peak, showing the posture of a Valkyrie, wearing a Tengu mask helmet on the head, wearing a battle armor all over the body, the armor on the back changes into wings, and two long chakra knives on the waist. Its combat power is enough to rival that of the tailed beast. This is the Uchiha clan's unique description of the kaleidoscope Sharingan's unique skills, which is completely in line with Susanoo. But Madara's Susanoo seems to have surpassed this level. Sure enough, there is still a part of the pupil power bonus of the reincarnation eye. Satoru sighed, and Susanoo, who was more than 100 meters tall, drew out his two swords, and slashed at the comet storm that was already falling in the sky. There is no suspense, the perfect body Susanoo can almost cut off the blade of the mountain, and cut through the comet storm in mid-air. The high temperature of the Nirvana gun mixed with the extreme cold of the comet storm, and the originally clear sky gradually became cloudy. Seeing how relaxed you are, I think you didn't try your best. But in front of perfect Susanoo, your two little pets are just children's toys. I said that only Hashirama could stop me, but he's gone. Madara is in the crystal cabin on Susanoo's forehead, and Satoru's water element and fire phoenix are less than half its height. Possess the technique of flying thunder god, although I can't stop you if you want to leave, but your purpose seems to be to prevent me from obtaining 9 tails. So now, how can you stop me? Madara-senpai, reincarnation of the dirt has indeed given you an unbelievably huge chakra, as well as a very strong recovery speed. But when it comes to the heyday, I'm afraid you still haven't reached it. Facing the godlike perfect body Susanoo, Satoru's expression became serious. In this level of confrontation, the water element and the fire phoenix really can't play a big role. However, for mages, these elemental pets have always been just auxiliary. A true archmage still has to rely on himself. The figure disappeared from the frisbee, and Wu appeared above Huo Fengguang's head. The current fire phoenix has turned off the sacrificial halo and has become a pure flying mount. Its volume was even further reduced, becoming only 5 meters long, which greatly increased its flying speed. And the water element, under Wu's command, exploded completely. Instead, a blizzard enveloped the entire space. A real blizzard, howling wind, sharp ice fragments, relying on the endless water elements by the sea, turned the battlefield into a land of ice and snow. The fire elements in the entire space were concentrated on the fire phoenix, and Madara on the opposite side found that Susanoo's lower body was actually freezing. The heyday? Indeed, my heyday is much more than that. Boom. Just as he was about to break free from the freeze and move forward, Madara heard a tearing thunder-like sound from the sky above. The thunder clouds that have been accumulated for a long time gave birth to violent thunder and lightning. This trick again. Madara frowned slightly. The naturally occurring lightning was more violent and uncontrollable than the ninjutsu formed by the thunder chakra. And Susanoo, which is more than 100 meters high, is a shining lightning rod. Arcane enhancement. Madara shifted his gaze again, only to see jumping arcane sparks covering Satoru's body. The majestic momentum spread, and Madara's complexion finally became serious. This is immortal mode. But to deal with Madara, who showed full body Susanoo, Satoru obviously wouldn't just make this preparation. Time warp. The distorted time flow enveloped Wu and Huo Fenghuang, and everything outside slowed down. Their time has been sped up. Madara saw that Susanoo's legs were frozen again by the hard ice that appeared almost instantly. When was the operation performed? Just when Madara had just reacted, Susanoo's arms and waist were instantly frozen by huge ice cubes. At the same time, a huge portal instantly appeared above Susanoo's head, and countless ice comets fell like a torrential rain. Useless. Madara's hands were knotted. Susanoo struggled to break free from the ice on his arms, and drew out his swords, but before he could swing the swords, a powerful energy suddenly enveloped the two swords. He suddenly felt that the double knives seemed to become extremely heavy in an instant, and the speed of swinging was only half of the original speed. Slow down. Snort. With a cold snort, Madara saw that the ice comet was close at hand. Susanoo almost grew another pair of arms, and swung his sword to slash. Boom. At the same time as the explosion, Madara's face changed slightly. The ice comet didn't just explode, but turned into a huge ice cube, freezing Susanoo's upper body directly. Thunder. With a cold shout and a wave of the enlightenment staff, the powerful thunder and lightning that had been brewing in the air for a long time suddenly turned into a thick thunder pillar, covering Susanoo directly. A mere thunder and lightning? No. There are other things. Madara was surprised to find that Susanoo's Tengu helmet was disintegrating. This is the perfect Susanoo. Boom. The thick pillar of thunder shone with purple light. This is arcane lightning strengthened with arcane power. Every archmage is a qualified long-range fort. Susanoo is just a living target. Wu raised Aelan's, which was shining brightly in his hand, and under the blessing of time distortion, Wu's speed of gathering arcane energy was at least doubled. Boom! An unprecedented thick beam of arcane light erupted from the top of Aluneth, and it hit the huge Susanoo's chest with almost no flight process. Susanoo, who was frozen by the powerful ice spell and slowed down by the arcane spell, had 4 arms and 4 swords, but failed to return in time. As a result, the powerful complete body Susanoo was hit by Wu's powerful arcane attack, which directly pierced through the chest. Senior Madara, my move, doesn't it look like a sword? Maintaining the full power output of arcane shock, Wu Xiao sneered, and waved his staff. The thick arcane beam, with a powerful essence not inferior to that of the Taoist, stirred up in the huge Susanoo's body. How can it be? Madara was finally shocked. Completely using Susanoo's strong defensive power, under the attack of the opponent's weird technique, it is so vulnerable. If the incomplete Susanoo was easily pierced at the beginning, Madara didn't feel much about it, but now, he finally realized that Wu's move was not easy. Madara's complete body, Susanoo, has a partial bonus of reincarnation eye and pupil power, and is not a pure yin escape creation. This kind of energy is not Xianxia chakra, it is stronger than its destructive power. The supercilious Madara finally realized this, but he still didn't panic. The almost infinite chakra brought to him by the reincarnation of the dirty soil made him directly restore the damaged part of Susanoo to its original state. Boom! Watching the sky above his head open again, a huge purple energy ball exuding violent energy fluctuations slowly fell. At the same time, the huge purple halo under his feet was rapidly shrinking towards him. Madara frowned. Cacha. The restored Susanoo, the upper body is no longer bound by ice. It returns its long knife to its sheath, and its 4 hands form seals at the same time. Target. You think too much. Guardians of Tirisfal of Konoha. Author, Ziyu. Chapter 348. Chapter 348, Time, Space. The perfect body of Susanoo, who can perform the ninjutsu that the caster is good at. The next moment, violent flames burn towards. Susanoo cares about his lower body. Susanangu, extinguish the great fire. Satoru immediately understood what Madara wanted to do. The flame transformed by chakra can still melt the solid ice that froze its lower body in this frost field where the fire element has been almost drained. In the face of Satoru's next arcane attack, Madara must recover his mobility first. Completely Susanoo, the wings behind it are not for decoration, but really have a powerful flying ability. Therefore, the moment the freezing bondage was lifted, Susanoo spread his wings and soared into the sky. Boom! The collapse and explosion of the arcane ring could barely be avoided, and Susanoo had almost flown in front of the arcane orb slowly falling in the air. Madara looked at the terrifying arcane energy collection that was still falling slowly, and snorted coldly. It is indeed a powerful technique, but now, you can fight however you want. The fire phoenix soared into the sky with Wu. Arcane orb is slow because its powerful energy is not easy to control. And unlike meteors and comet storms, the energy body doesn't have much mass to accelerate. If you use the portal to transfer, it will take some time just to pass through the portal. Susanoo, who is flying in the air now, has long since disappeared. However, in order to deal with this shortcoming of the arcane orb, the senior archmages invented a very effective method. Time and space teleportation. A complicated and brilliant magic circle lit up around the arcane orb, and Madara was stunned the next moment. The arcane orb, which was still falling slowly, suddenly appeared in front of Susanoo as if it had been edited. No, or rather, the arcane orb was already there, and Susanoo almost bumped into it by himself. This speed. How is it possible? Boom long. On the Fire Phoenix, Satoru admired the radiant arcane explosion, and the sky split apart innocently. This piece of sky turned into a purple arcane starry sky. What a wonderful battle, partner. Alans, who didn't bother Satoru with words from the beginning, finally couldn't hold back anymore, and Satoru could feel its excitement. Compared to you, your ex is an idiot. Ha ha ha. Uchiha Madara certainly did not expect that most of their so-called time and space techniques are the use of space. And the control of time is one of the charms of arcane power. That's right, transfer the arcane orb to the time stream, put it in at the next time point Madara is in, and land on the corresponding space coordinates. Wu raised his eyebrows. The godlike perfect body in the air, Susanoo, had been shattered in front of Wu's current strongest attack spell. The spell that combines time and space, this is the spell that the highborn Magi Stir Ellis and is best at, and you can actually use it proficiently. Your predecessor used me to fight her personally, but I couldn't learn the slightest bit. I just said, your arcane ring is also her forte. However, the great Magi Stir Ellis and used the Titan artifact, the Eye of Amonthul, and the powerful arcane energy source, the Nightwell, to reach the realm of time travel. Ah, I see. The dragon veins, and the energy of the fox, are indeed not inferior to the Nightwell. But that old monster has lived for tens of thousands of years. How old are you? Inheritance, learning, and innovation are the most outstanding qualities that distinguish human mages from those ancient races that are accustomed to relying on powerful energy. And, don't forget, I have the top magical knowledge inheritance in the two worlds of Draenor and Azeroth. Enlightenment smiled slightly. He had already seen a calf slowly falling down amid the energy disturbance in the middle of the exploded Susanoo in the sky. In the process of falling, the powerful recovery power of dirty reincarnation quickly restored that calf into Madara's complete body. The reading progress of Medeva's book is close to 90%. The spells of the time system, as well as many assumptions that Medeva himself was unable to verify, were all realized by me one by one. That's why I said before that this world is a treasure trove, which would be completely impossible in Azeroth. You mean, the Bronze Dragon Army? Alans also came to his senses. Why few mortal mages in Azeroth can go deep into the field of time. Back then, Surama relied on the power of the Nightwell to protect it with the time barrier for 10,000 years, only then did Ellis and have the chance to escape the monitoring of the Bronze Dragon Army. Here, the world without Nozdormu is indeed much more convenient. It's just that if you want to completely kill the current Uchiha Madara, or a necromancer will take action and kill the soul directly. Either bombard him to the scum and completely destroy him. However, arcane arts without authority cannot do the step like yin-yang escape. The reincarnation of the dirty soil is a technique that claims to only be sealed, which is really troublesome. Satoru shook his head regretfully. Madara's body had fully recovered in a short period of time. Due to the characteristics of the reincarnation of the dirty soil, his face is still calm, and there is no sign of being annihilated by the violent energy annihilation at all. Patter. Uchiha Madara, who fell to the ground, moved his neck, looked at Wu, who was sitting on the Fire Phoenix, and applauded lightly. It's amazing, today, I seem to have said these 3 words more than once, which is really rare. Hey! This old thing thinks he can't die, so he's so arrogant? What about the so many undead spells recorded in that broken book? Give him a moment. Let him know the power of arcane art is so powerful that even life and death can be controlled. Those spells need to prepare a lot of ritual props and so on. The undead magic that can be really used for combat is more or less related to the power of death, and there is no such thing in this world. Wu smacked his lips. this was also his shortcoming. To deal with the goal of the reincarnation of the dirty soil, apart from sealing it, it is to extract the soul. However, the souls returned from the psychic reincarnation of the dirty land have a close connection with the pure land world, and can use the endless energy in it to restore chakra. Therefore, such a soul cannot be shaken by Wu without preparation. As for the seal, the reason is still the same, the energy is too strong, and it cannot be sealed unless a powerful sealing instrument is set up in advance. Therefore, it seems that there is only one way to let the filthy soil stop eating. Banish him to another dimension. However, Wu could not be sure whether someone would channel him back. Senior Madara, in the current situation, you can't do anything to me. Although I don't seem to be able to do anything to you, there are still ways to make you feel uncomfortable. Satoru waved his staff, and a special portal opened. For example, this kind of portal connected to another independent space. Madara's pupils shrank slightly, and he understood what enlightenment meant. Humph, Mito Mongo, I had a good time today, because of your respect for me. Glancing at the coast that had been destroyed beyond recognition, Madara folded her arms and slowly sank to the ground. Kuwabai will be placed in Konoha for the time being, but my plan will not stop. You failed to do anything to me today, let me see if you can stop my plan. Seeing that Madara only had his head left, Satoru suddenly said. Be careful with the black ones, if you don't want to die unexpectedly. After a slight pause, Madara took a deep look at Wu, then sank into the ground and disappeared. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Guardians of Tirisfal of Konoha. Author, Ziujian. Chapter 349. Chapter 349 Arrangement of Parliament. The method Madara used to leave made Satoru certain that the sacrifice for the reincarnation of the dirty soil was definitely by. But ordinary Beja sacrifices should be reincarnated, so they can't travel underground like this. Madara, it seems that there are quite a few parts that are out of information. Satoru didn't expect that Madara would immediately retreat. If he chooses to fight Wu to the death, with his combat awareness and experience, it will not be easy to find a chance to seal him into a different space. Madara is not a reckless man who only knows how to drive Gundams. However, it has somewhat achieved its goal. The arcane illusion has completely recorded the battle between Satoru and Madara, and next, the Council of Guardians has something to do. The task on Nagato's side is heavier, we must find out who is behind Madara. When Satoru returned to Gao Tianyuan on the Fire Phoenix, the members of the Guardian Council were dumbfounded. The speaker still has such good things. There are countless ninjas who can fly in the entire ninja world. Among other things, only one of the 5 shadows can fly. But before they could ask about Huo Fenghuang, Wu issued an emergency summoning order to the 5 counselors and the leader of the execution team. Not a few days after Gao Tianyuan was built, the Guardian Council faced its first and biggest challenge so far. That legendary ninja, Uchiha Madara. Nakoki looked shocked, he is the one who knows Madara's situation best among the 5 counselors. He is really not dead. In a daze, Naoki seemed to feel that this shocking emotion had once appeared in him. But before he had time to think about it, Naoshi's expression turned serious. He probably knows a thing or two about how strong Uchiha Madara, who was able to fight against his grandfather Senjuzuma, is. That's right, this is the complete image. Madara's target this time is the tailed beast. Satoru puts the crystal that recorded the image of him fighting with Madara on the table. Let's take a look first. Afterwards, we need to send a notification letter to the country of Taki. Shijiki Nanao must hide it well. Kuwabai's incident is considered an accident. I am responsible for solving this. It is precisely because of Kuwabai's problem that I confronted Madara this time. The congressman and Nagato watched the scene of the battle between gods and gods on the video, and fell silent. The 5 congressmen were completely shocked and speechless. And Nagato finally understood why Madara put so much pressure on him. Oh, a pair of reincarnation eyes is really nothing. He himself has this level of power, doesn't he think it's not enough? Wu, your strength has actually reached this level. Shenshu felt a deep sense of frustration. How long has it been since the battle between you and the 5 of us? Did you hide your strength last time? It's too shocking. Cough, don't pay attention to these details. Next, on the one hand, we need to warn the 5 hidden villages, Madara's target. On the other hand, we need to mobilize resources to repair the severely damaged land. Satoru looked at the rope tree and the lois. The rope tree, your wooden escape, and the earth escape of the ninjas in Yanyan village are the fastest way to restore the land, please. You guys had a great time, and we are here to clean up the mess. Huangtu just took the order seriously, and Shengshu complained a few more words. The next time something like this takes us, we can always watch the game. Cough, it's better not to have a next time. Wu coughed lightly and turned to Machi. Maki Sr., I will leave the matter of Taki no Kune's notification letter to you, and I will compile a detailed information about the appearance of Uchiha Madara for you later. Yes, Speaker. The young Maki was full of excitement. Although he also saw the great strength of the Speaker during the war, it was still within the comprehension range. But now this kind of natural disaster level battle scene. If he hadn't been hit by an illusion, he would have really seen a god. The land of the country of Taki that has been destroyed beyond recognition is there, so there is no need for Satoru to create such an enemy just to establish his personal deterrence. Needless to say, Naoki, for the other 4 counselors, they instantly had a sense of belonging to Satoru, the Speaker, far beyond the past. Only the gods can compete with the gods. The opponent of the god of ninja Senju Hashirama, the legendary Uchiha Madara, the Speaker, and his battle are actually evenly divided. Dashiro's face is serious. He has already understood Madara's power and the metamorphosis of the reincarnation of dirt from the video just now. Speaker, have you reached the level of the ninja god back then? This. Wu thought for a while, then shook his head. Probably not yet. You guys also understand the reincarnation of the dirty soil. It is impossible to perfectly restore the strength of a person. Although Madara's reincarnation is very weird this time, it should still not be his heyday. Glancing at Nagato, the other party was thinking, Wu continued. Relying on the immortal body and super chakra resilience, the reincarnation of the dirt has created a powerful combat force with almost unlimited fault tolerance. But correspondingly, the combat skills cannot be fully utilized, and many special ninjutsu cannot be used, which also limits the upper limit of Madara's strength. Madara in its heyday should be stronger than it is now, so the first generation of Hokage in its heyday is also stronger than me and Madara now. What kind of battles the ancestors have experienced, it is really frightening, but I can't help but yearn for it. Ching subconsciously touched his right eye, which was wearing a blindfold, and seemed to lose interest in the role that a white eye could play for an instant. I don't know if it's an illusion, Ching recently felt that his precious white eye seems to consume a little more chakra when he uses it. He also met Konoha's resident member of the executive force, Hyaga Hinata from the Hyaga branch. But the other party didn't seem to care about the white eyes he had. This made Ching couldn't help but have some doubts. Could it be that Konoha revoked the golden arrest warrant because this white eye is not so important? Otherwise, Hinata Raisai should hate me to death now, and definitely won't show it at all. My thoughts were going astray when I heard Wu assign another task. Nagato, you brought the execution force, the 2 counselors who protected and restored the land, and the seconded ninjas, and Madara appeared again. At the same time, pay attention to collecting Shigeki Nanao's information. Takiyan village's power is no longer what it used to be, and now it is becoming more and more low-key. The execution troops don't even have their jonin. This time Madara's actions against Nanao and Takiyan village were destroyed by my coincidence, but if they continue to isolate themselves, it's hard to say whether they will have such good luck next time. Yes, speaker. Nagato nodded, but found that Satoru had winked at him, so he didn't say much. Member Ching, please be vigilant around Gao Tianyuan, Mr. Toshiro, the normal operation of Gao Tianyuan, I will trouble you during this time. The two responded one after another, and Wu Chang took a breath. I have benefited a lot from this battle with Madara, I need a period of retreat. Madara will not be reconciled to this defeat, the next time I meet him, I must not be satisfied with the tie. And at least have the strength to suppress him. Guardians of Tirisfal of Konoha. Author, Ziujian. Chapter 350. Chapter 350 Funeral and Future. Enlightenment's retreat plan was not implemented in time. Anzishu, who planned to go to the country of Taki to participate in land restoration, did not make it. From the time when the psychic contract on the Kurama was activated by Madara, to the battle between Satoru and Madara, to when Satoru arranged the affairs of the council, and went back to erase the contract on the Kurama, another day passed. Now, it is the third day since Naruto Uzumaki, the son of the fourth Hokage Namikaze Minato in Konoha Hidden Village, was born. Hidden Leaf Village issued an obituary. Wife of the first Hokage Senju Hashirama, grandmother of Tsunade and Nawaka, and Konoha's oldest surviving elder, Mito Uzumaki, passed away peacefully at noon on October 12. Mito-sama, seeing the successors of the Uzumaki clan, there is no regret, and he died with a smile. At the funeral, everyone wore black mourning clothes and silently watched as Tsunade and Nawaka sent their grandmother to the ground under the auspices of Hirozuru Sarutobi. Mitomonon looked at Satoru, who was still blaming himself, and comforted softly. Wu, this is not your fault, on the contrary, when Mito-sama was dying, she asked us to thank you on her behalf. If it wasn't for you, as early as a few years ago during the Renzhuli transfer ceremony. Yes, father. Wu sighed softly and scratched his hair angrily. But I didn't notice Mito-sama's strange behavior. That guy Madara involved all my energy, otherwise, with the help of Kurama's Yang-dun chakra, Mito-sama shouldn't be able to. As it is now, Mito-sama is very satisfied. Patting Satoru on the shoulder, Mitomonon nodded in relief. Uchiha Madara, the teacher was not a powerful ninja who was an opponent back then, but you are only 25 years old, and you can evenly compete with them. The reincarnation of the dirty soil, Danzo still made a big mistake after all. This once again proves the correctness of your overall view and strategic awareness. The Council of Guardians will surely play an important role when the entire ninja world is facing a crisis. The future will eventually be your era, and Mito-sama understands this, so he will leave with peace of mind. Maybe in the future, I will too. Come on, old man, you're still early. Wu curled his lips, his old man's strength and physical fitness, even in the original timeline, at least survived. 30 years later? At that time, I was in my 50s, okay. TCH, you humans are really sentimental. The corner of Mitomonion's mouth twitched as he looked at the orange-haired middle-aged man beside Satoru. This guy had a vicissitudes of life on his face, but he said unkind words. Participate in the funeral of your own Jinzolai? Is it true that only this uncle can do it for thousands of years? Wu has already set up a soundproof barrier, and only he and the old man can hear the words of the 9 lamas, just to prevent him from speaking out loud on such an important occasion. However, Wu Hian's worries seemed unnecessary. 9 lamas showed a rare hint of confusion. That woman in Mito has sealed my uncle for decades, but why? This uncle, who is a collective of hatred, but can't hate it? Boy Wu, tell me the truth, Did you seal my uncle's power and cause my uncle's consciousness to go wrong? How come? Wu smiled and shook his head. Only when you are in a similar or even the same position can you empathize with everything the other person has experienced. Just like what that kid Yahiko said, only after experiencing the same pain and shedding the same tears can the distance from the real world be shortened. Humph, my uncle didn't cry, nor did I ever cry. But now you are indeed in the human identity, among the human beings, feeling the real human world, not like before. The hatred you have seen and accompanied you through millennia cannot represent most people after all. You guy, you are so young, how can you talk more verbosely than the old man over there? The old man over there, Mito Minion twitched his eyes, smiled wryly and shook his head. When Kurama said that he would come to Uzumaki Mito's funeral, the entire Konoha executives, regardless of whether they were retired or in office, were all taken aback. It was only with Wu Wu's guarantee that they reluctantly agreed. Now it looks like this might be a good thing. The nine tails of the Assembly of Hate looks like this. Who dares to believe it? Well, human beings are like this, maybe you will gradually like this kind of life, maybe not. Let's wait until what you promised is realized. Other tailed beasts? Or heretic golems? Anyway, I don't want to become 10 tails again. There was a dignified expression on the face of Julama. Madara's plan, he already knew. Collecting the 9-tailed beasts and reintegrating them to awaken the 10 tails means that the self-awareness of the 9-tailed beasts will be banned forever. This is even more miserable than being in the seal of Ren's Huli. But what even he didn't know was that there was a deeper conspiracy behind it. Don't worry, maybe it won't be long. The funeral was drawing to a close. Wu patted Lama 9 on the shoulder, and said jokingly under the disgusted eyes of the other party. Maybe, soon, you will be able to meet a certain old man, maybe. In the private space, Wu calmly looked at the shining eye in the center of the ceiling circle. It was a left eye, and the blue one was just a pair, the white eyes from the Hyuga clan. A special chakra is slowly pouring into it under the control of the magic circle. Chakra Purification Magic Circle, partner. After the purification of the magic circle, the current chakra of the Hyuga clan is quite different from the original one. Aelins participated in the construction of the magic circle, and it knows exactly what the original chakra looks like, as the source of chakra, the flesh and blood tissue provided by the Hyuga clan. Yeah, but it's not enough. It's already very difficult to simulate the chakra characteristics of the Hyuga clan with arcane power and calculate the same atavistic characteristics. However, further deduction with Bian is needed to make up for the peripheral part of the genetic deficiency. Satoru nodded slightly. The chakra purified in the current magic circle was roughly between Hinata and Otsutsuki. The reason for inferring this result is because this white eye has been purified to a very high degree of purity. From the same source, it is still possible to judge the initial level of chakra. The purity of Qing's white eyes has been slowly decreasing with the use of pupil power. Only the chakra of the owner of the white eyes can maintain the purity of the white eyes, and achieve the same goal as the bird in the cage. Ao and Hinata's elusive chakra nature will slowly destroy that eye. My promise to the daily difference has also been fulfilled. At that time, Hyuga Patriarch, Hyuga Hinata's daughter, heir of the clan, Hinata was born. Wu then used this set of reincarnation seal technique as a congratulatory gift to his old subordinates and the entire Hyuga clan. Then in the end, it is patient observation and waiting. Satoru placed Aelin sideways and gradually entered a state of meditation. When Atsuki chakra is purified and Tensei Yin evolves successfully, then you can try to deduce the secret of the authority of the 6 levels.